Welcome YouTube. We're in the playground again. Welcome back. We got GWS and Richmond here. We already played one AFL game today. We just came from Marvel's Avengers stuff, which in YouTube land will be the last thing that comes up on the day, just because it goes for like 3 hours, so the whole like uploading and processing of all of that takes longer.
So much anticipation, and now we are underway.
But yeah, we got GWS Richmond here the last. Hopefully we're able to have a good time. Get rid of this one. The last AFL game we had, which is interesting. We've been on stream for, at this point it's been 4 hours, but we played that game like over like 3 hours ago.
Navigated the traffic. Green.
Get the kicks down there.
How's the entry? Grimes.
Okay, cool. Oh!
Hopper.
Come on. Am I using the right controls? I don't know. Yeah. We got it. It is, for what it's worth, we got GWS as player 1. For what it's worth. It was an update today. It's the AFL game. I don't know if it's what the improvements are. I do remember we did have a problem in the last game of we had a situation where none of the players wanted to go get the ball. I mean, eventually we solved it, but that was definitely a problem, especially when you just come from like an update. Not great. Definitely not great. Might want to get rid of that. There you go. Mr. Richmond's little kick. Oh, handball.
That's not 15. Doesn't often waste it.
Yeah, you got Nankervis. Handball. Oh, that's not good. That wasn't good at all. Little kicks. It's Daniels. First goal of the game, baby. First goal of the game right there. Goes to the Giant. Just Kelly, get rid of it, please. Okay then, I had something in my mind that I wanted to talk about. I don't remember what it was. I'm gonna have to remember it now. I don't know if it had to do with like superhero stuff, because that's just where we came from. I don't think so. God damn it. But hopefully like as we play, and I talk, and I think, something just pops up. I don't know, was it something to do with food? Could we talk about fooding? I don't know. God damn it. Oh, it always sucks when you have something in your mind and like, yeah, we could do that. Oh! Handball this way. No. It's gonna be with Whitfield, get it out of there. Oh, I think I remember what it was. So, I was like, I don't know if I can like talk at all about like advertisements stuff, right? Like, so earlier today, I had mentioned this in the last game about like, I was like, oh yeah, I saw like this wisecrack video, right? Because like, okay, technically I'm subscribed to them, but it's not like I'd watched anything of theirs in a long time, so it's kind of in like the recommended stuff. And it's like, I think about that a little bit of like, damn, like yeah, we get recommended these things, and it's like, how much of like what I end up being interested in is actually because I personally am like, oh my god, I want to go look at this something. I'm like, I'm pretty sure, at least for me, and I feel like there's a good chance this is how it is for just the majority of people. It's just like, oh, there's a little like thing pop up that suggests it, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, sure. Most of the time when things like pop up, you're like, no, I don't want to see that. But then if there's like enough interest or whatever, then suddenly you just go, yeah, okay, I'll go watch this video that that's about this thing, and like, okay, that's interesting. And now like I'm thinking it, and now I find myself in a situation where I'm thinking about, oh my god, the advertisements and stuff, and how it's like, and because like a recommendation for you is an ad, and it's just like how, okay, come rid of this, about like how so much of like what we go through is just like, hey, revolt. It's just about like the influence of like what other people want you to look at, you know? I was thinking about that a bit. I also, this is weird. It feels weird to me. It's like, sure, when I'm it's like I find myself looking at Twitter, right, and just looking at things. I'm like, I swear, like in the recent days, people like, because I'm being shown things from like people I don't follow, right? Like in the past couple of days, I feel like I'm just being shown more and more of like tweets from people whose whole thing is where it's like, oh my god, the voice to Australia thing that's happening in Australia, and it's from like the side of people who's saying no, we need to not have it and stuff. And I'm not talking about like the agreement in terms of like what the opinion is. I'm just like, why am I like why now? Like, why am I being shown? Why is this like popping up so much right at this moment? You know, in these couple of days. That's like popping up in my head. It's like, why am I being shown this on Twitter in these couple of days? And like people are focused on it a little bit more.
The margin could certainly have been greater.
That's like on my mind a little bit. Okay, we come get rid of that. Sonzi and Boz. Little kick.
That'll go close to the line.
I did hear about, I don't remember how long ago it started. I think it's because I know it's like new, like because Facebook decided to like do threads, right? I haven't looked at it. I haven't like, I might check it out at some point. I'm not sure, but come this way. Okay, that's off there. We'll see. It's just something else. I like Elon and Zuckerberg actually going to be doing a fight or whatever. Like, who knows? How much should we care? Should we care that they're going to do like freaking MMA on each other? Choke each other out. I'm like, oh,
running in support.
Little kicks. Mr. Broad. Handball over there.
Williams would have been proud of that one. Baker, Ash,
that's the GWS.
On the ball now.
The whole like having me thinking about, oh my god, these like pop up, these like recommended videos for me, and like I'm being advertised certain things for me to care about for me, and like sure you can like go into them, but it like also has me like, it also right now has me thinking about has me thinking about Black Mirror. I haven't seen Black Mirror in a few years. I think it's been a while since I've watched it, but those episodes I remember, it's like they can sort of stick out to me, like things that happened in there. Like I remember the Prime Minister of England being put in a situation where he ended up fucking a pig. That happened, and it was like on national national TV as well. So he was just completely humiliated. I don't remember what the reason or what was going to happen was. I don't remember that, but I do. That's interesting, actually, for me to say that right now. It's like the reasons behind it could have been things that, if you were to look back, you'd be like, okay, you understand why it happened. But all I can think in my head is that's the guy who fucked the pig. It's not like what the reason for it was. Like I'm literally saying right now, I don't remember what the reason. I don't remember the context surrounding the pig fucking. But I just remember that he fucked the pig. Like that is fascinating to me right now, to be like that, you know.
Maybe he could have gone himself. Bedford with half a chance.
Okay, so you got Callahan.
Big ball to be won here.
Jesus Christ! I just realized that GWS have like frickin' 6 behinds. Go in there.
Bombs it in. Who's front and center?
Like I can remember other episodes as well. So I can remember there being one about like you put on a headset and it like takes you into like an alternate reality, like a happy place or something. I have like somewhat of a memory of that.
He's besieged. The Giants with a chance.
I can remember the episode where there was the guy and so the I don't remember his name in it. But I do think that it was memorable. So he was, it was the one where you're like in the reality of oh, you have to like ride on the exercise bike.
The Giants look keen to atone for last week's
Whereas like riding on the exercise bike helps you get like little points, and then you live in this like little cubicle and you can like watch things and stuff. And then they have like a talent show, so then he goes into like some sort of talent show, right? Where you show off something and then like judges can say whether you're good or not. So he had eventually, so like his girlfriend was on it or something had happened. He found him, he eventually went onto it and went on like a big speech about like what's going on in this world, and how like you do this thing here and they just want you to work and work and work and all that, and all, like the big speech, and he had like the knife to his throat while he was doing it, and they were like, yeah, that's a good thing. So then because if he was speaking from like a impassioned point or whatever about like being pissed off with stuff, then suddenly he found himself where it was like that became his thing, you know, at the end of it. I'm pretty sure like his girlfriend who was in it, I don't even remember what she wanted to do. I just have memories that it ended up with her like potentially being a porn star, I think. Like she got out of the world they were in, like she went out of being like the peasant into like the better world. Or like, you know, I'm gonna say I said the better world, but also said that it was like, oh, she went porn star route with it.
Martin has it now on centre wing. Ward has to be clean. That's a bruising tackle. The Tigers have won it.
I'll get rid of it.
I think he called for that. There's an argument for a free kick there.
I think
Bruce wins the tap. He's
there's a couple more I can remember. I can remember. I want to leave the one that I really remember until last, but I just got it in my head. There was an episode about like a love dating app. It was like you would do a love dating app, and it was like, and the success rate was supposed to be like really, really good or something, like incredibly good. I don't fully remember all the context behind it. I just remember that it was there. You know? Okay, and it was almost like your dating experiences in there wasn't even necessarily, was always like based on what the app was sort of telling you to do. I feel like that's correct.
Had his name written all over it.
But the one I really remember, and I think, oh no, I just got another one in my head. Okay, okay, I'm gonna
short can run with the footy.
What's the? There was one where there was like a kid or something. He ended up like jerking off to like some sort of porn, and I think the porn might have been like an underage girl or like doing something, and then like he was like forced into a situation where he had to like rob banks and stuff. And then there was like an older dude who was there as well, who the actor might have been the guy who played Jamie in Game of Thrones, potentially, if I remember correctly. I just remember like the other guy, like the older guy that was there, was like a known actor. And I was like, oh my god, I know who that guy is. I can't remember what it was though, or who it was. But then they would have to like do all these things, and I think at the end one of them killed the other, maybe, if I remember correctly. Because they kept getting like little missions texted to them, and it's like, you have to do this stuff, otherwise you get like humiliation stuff. So it's kind of like that pig fucking episode a bit.
Away he goes. Aggressive with the kick in.
But the one I really remember, the one that I think is my favorite that I can remember, is the one with, I don't remember her name, but she's in Jurassic World.
The Tigers are good with their hands.
I think she might be the daughter of Ron Howard. Maybe. I think that might be correct. I don't know if that's correct, but it's like the social, what's the term? It's the one with where you like rate people's personalities. So instead of it being like a business, right? Like with businesses, you can rate them out of like 5 stars. It's like the people, you can rate people out of 5 stars. So it's like a social system app that everyone was using. So people were always on like their best behavior to try and make sure of like, okay, I need to go get 5 stars, and like you were let in or you were rejected through places based on your star rating, you know?
Ash goes without it. Rioli gathers. Will he pump it deep? Is calm in a crisis.
I just remember, I remember it pretty well. It's because of like it eventually, because of like where it eventually leads to, and everything of like, so oh my god, this person loses their social credit score, right? And then they actually get, I'm pretty sure people get imprisoned based on a low social credit score. And but then it was like so freeing after spending so much time being like, I can't say this, I can't say these things. Once you're out of it, it's like, oh my god, you feel like at the end of it, she felt, even though she was like imprisoned, she was able to just say like, fuck, you know?
Graham, he's set upon. They'll need to be more careful.
Because it's just like looking at that and being like, oof. I know we have like businesses with all that stuff as well, but like, I don't know that we technically have a social credit score in terms of like an app. But imagine if that actually came about.
But they're hanging in there. Taranto intercepts the hand pass. Short.
Go over here. That's the Rioli.
And marks uncontested.
This would give him a shot of confidence.
Come on, Morris.
Goes a goal, and that is an opportunity gone.
Let me bring this down.
Missed one he should have got and let him
just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. R-E-S-P-C-T.
Clever kick.
Mr. Green.
Just waiting for the right moment to press go.
Hey, let's go this way. Who do you have? You got Taranto. Kick it down there. And it's getting spoiled. Oh, it's intercepts.
That's a quality hand pass.
But yeah, I think I remember having, but even me talking about Black Mirror, I was saying like, oh yeah, it made me think of Black Mirror. It's not even like random, you know? Because I remember, I feel like it would have been recently seen little video things about Black Mirror, so it's like, it was already in my head. It's like, are your thoughts random or stuff, or is it just like something that was, that you were like, it's like something that you were,
was that insufficient intent or a skill error?
The fact that it said insufficient intent is really good. Like you didn't see it because my webcam's in the way, but that was really good. But it's like, oh, this little thing, I was exposed to it days, like even maybe a week ago. Oh, and now I'm thinking about it. Now I'm talking about it. It's not even a thing of like, I see it immediately and then I want to go get it. It was just planted, like the seed was planted in my mind. Holy crap, wasn't there one with, oh, her name's like Christian, like Melody or something, I think. Because she was in like, she was in a show with like the resort. Yeah, because yeah, she was like the main character of one. It was like a Star Trek thing. Oh no, it was like people being put into like a simulated environment by this dude, and they were put in like Star Trek outfits. Yeah, that literally just hit my head. And it also reminds me of the show that I saw her in that I really hope has like a second season. It was called The Resort. It's not often this happens, but I remember watching it, and I actually liked that show so much that when I had, when I got like my sister and my mum watching it, I actually rewatched it with them, and I was like super happy to do that. Like, usually if I have like a show, I don't necessarily want to go rewatch it. I'm just happy to have that experience there and then move along. But like those one, so yeah, I'm like hoping that show has like a second season. I'm pretty sure it's the way that they set it up, it's supposed to. I think I probably saw somewhere that it is happening. I kind of want to look that up though.
That's almost worth a kick.
Oh!
Crunching tackle.
Can you please get memory leakage? What was the place called again? Pasaje? I think that's what it was called. Iden!
To say there are some alarm bells ringing is an understatement. They're not working hard enough.
Ow. Hey,
Wrong side of the stick.
It's a let off. He should have put that one away.
Okay, get rid of that, Nicky.
Danger here.
And we are the Spirit Squad. Mr. Kelly's. Okay, get the kicks in there.
What a game he's having.
I want to get rid of that.
Wins it back.
Oh.
Dangerous place to turn it over. A few hearts in mouths for a moment or two.
Okay then. Hey.
With a deft tap.
Like, it's nice. I like being able to talk about something else as I'm going. Here. Like, yeah, I know that in my head I'm like, oh my god, I'd love to be able to like talk about topics and stuff. But if we just have like a time where I'm talking about TV shows and being like, oh my god, Black Mirror, this and all that stuff. I mean, that works too. It just depends on where we're at. What time I'm moving in. Oh. And booze. Okay, you might want to get rid of Ash there. You get Bedford. Yeah. There you go. GWS are player 1 that is important to note, to remember, for why this game is the way it is right now. Get rid of it. Oh, come on. Okay, that's a ball up. Like, when's the last time we had like the player 2 control team like fully dominate even within the score? I don't know when it's happened.
Has some attention to deal with. Met solidly.
Might wanna Mr. Short.
Gathers.
Hey.
Gets to the drop, and they'll get the goal in the end.
Could have this. That's simple kick. He's got one already. This should be his second. I mean, the good thing is that we see GWS, the score that GWS have up until this point is pretty nice. If Richmond were able to increase their score as well, the scoring has been something I've been complaining about. I've been hoping for higher scores, so GWS are kind of giving that to us right now, which is good to see. Oh!
They cannot keep him quiet. Iden, he ran into a brick wall. They're going nowhere, and we'll
okay, that's going to be a ball up then. Let's see what we have. Gets rid of this. And okay, that worked. Mr. Ash, who you got? Oh, turnover. Yeah, that's coming back. Kennedy.
The Giants playing
Mr. Haynes. Give it back.
Good-looking kick. Kennedy goes back with the hand.
Kick down.
He doesn't waste many.
Got Callahan.
Dangerous to leave on
up here. Back with Kennedy. Handball's in. Little kick.
The Giants look
very good. Keep it going. There's Ward. Oh no.
How will the umpire see this?
You've got to be quicker than that.
Yeah, that's fair. That is very fair. Handball. Oh yes, go. Who has it? This way. I was you know, okay. Not gonna go with. Who is it? That's Canelio. Canelio. Keep going. Mr. Brucey. Handball. Can you get the goal? It's offline. There's gonna be a mark.
And out of play.
Okay.
Hasn't been the highest standing game, but still been enjoyable to watch.
I found myself. What did I find myself? Get rid of this. I found myself going into like a little bit. This happens every now and again. I found myself in a little Destiny kit. You know? Mr. Destiny himself. See some stuff he had there. Okay, come get rid of this. Like it can be. Yeah? Oh. Who else is that way? Like it happens every now and again. Like I'll find myself be like, oh, let me go like watch stuff from people who have like social commentary, political stuff or whatever, you know? Like that happens here and there. Oh, come get rid of this. No, can you please get rid of that's a ball up. But I remember I was seeing it, was it last night? I was seeing him a video of his where he was just like debating I guess it's so weird because it's like I think he was debating, I don't know if it was high school or college kids, but I'm like, oh my god, these high school and college kids, right? So it's like low college, so say they're like 19 years old, just as an example. I was just seeing that and being like, when I first got introduced to like the political world, it was 2017. Donald Trump had just become president. It was like early 2017 as well, and I'm like, that's 6 years ago. These little bitches were just entering puberty. I'm like, what the fuck? It was just me. I was just that. Why are you now that thing that I just was, you know? Like, it doesn't feel like that long ago. But then I see that, I'm like, fuck.
Bedford runs onto it.
But go over here.
It's goal, but the kick is astray. A minus
Like, it's
score.
weird. It's like I'm 24, but I feel old. I actually feel old.
With the footy to
And I know that, like, in the grand scheme, it's like, no, you're young. But I'm like, I don't feel that way. I don't feel young. I got my aches and my pains. I've got my little injuries. I can't walk properly. Can't talk properly. I don't know if I can think properly. It's all going away, is my guys. I'm past my prime. My prime is gone.
Prestiak runs onto it and can drive them into attack. Short.
Hey.
Uses the body well.
His goal was so far, but this would be a great way to get on the score sheet.
But yeah, I was listening to him debate them on, like, saying, do conservatives hate trans people? And it was an interesting topic of, like, going through it, and then the other people being like, well, they might not like the trans people. They might, well, not saying that. Wait, no, they were saying, like, they might not, like, think the trans exists and stuff. And I was just trying to, like, understand Destiny's point of, like, well, if they don't like trans being a legitimate thing, then they would hate trans people. Like, I was just trying to, like, run through my head, like, what I was, well, actually right now I'm trying to run through my head exactly what I was feeling and what my takeaways were, which I don't have completely done, you know, like, I don't have that completed form, which, you know, it would be better if I did, but
some indirect ball movement here.
Get rid of this one. Go, 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 go. Handballs.
He's set upon.
That is a fascinating topic. I do remember, well, the idea of, like, do they hate trans people? I feel like I can see that. I feel like I can see the argument on it. Of, like, sure, they would have things that, like, there was an interesting thing that was brought up of, like, pageants. You know, of, like, oh, well, where was this, like, outrage for, like, the kids in pageants? And it's, like, literally the first time it's ever, like, even thought in my head. And it made me realize, it made me, like, remember toddlers and tiaras, which I would have seen a couple of times. Like, not very much, but I'm like, I feel like I remember watching, like, a Toddlers and Tiaras, like, episodes here and there. Like, I remember looking up, like, child pageant documentaries. I remember that having to happen, and then you see all the stuff that's happening there. And I'm like, God, it's been so long since I ever even heard child pageants brought up. So I guess technically the last time I saw it was, like, when I was watching The Boys. And there was, like, and there was the child pageant scene in there. Oh, get rid of this. But I did see it, like, the idea makes sense of, like, well, are, like, people's objections to trans people, kids or whoever, is that based on, okay, is it something that's just individual to transness, like, or does their reasons for their objections go toward, is it like, what am I trying to say? Is it something that is something that they really believe, or is it, like, something they're conveniently complaining against because they don't like transness? Look at there. That's a fascinating topic. Like, the idea of, like, gender and everything is fascinating to me. In that I remember years ago when I first, well, it wasn't like when I first tried, but, like, I had tried doing YouTube stuff, right? Make videos, and my idea was, let me, like, take a topic and try and, like, dive into it and think about it and try and come with an answer with understanding on the different, all the things. And then I got around to, like, transgenderism, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then I got so confused. I don't know what the answer is here. Get over here. That's this way. Missed the kicks. So it's something that I think over the years, even now, I feel like I kind of get it. I think I get it. I'm at a point where I'm not even 100% confident. I don't have, like, 100% conviction that I, like, get it, you know? But I think so. Coming this way. Oh! In terms of like trying to understand the situation. Come over here. But what was I gonna say? What was I? Go over here. A little kick.
On the non-preferred, Kennedy cuts them off.
Okay, this way. And you got Lloyd. Kicks down there.
It's a poor kick. Hogan.
But I do remember them talking about, like, oh, there's a what would it be? Can a person like object to stuff, do stuff that has the ability to have harm to another person without it being based on hatred to him? I think that was brought up. I'm just saying things, and then eventually I'll get around. You know, I feel like I'm just saying thoughts out loud, just so then I don't have like dead air of me trying to think. So I'm just doing it like this. Get the kicks. Handball. Oh god. Who has it? Handball back there. Okay, that didn't work for you. So you got handballs. Little kick. Cumberland. I think we just go back. Probably could have gone in, just taken the goal, but okay. Let's see with Cumberland. Are you freaking serious?
He'll be filthy he let that one go to waste.
Yeah, I'm filthy. Because we could have just played on with him.
Not his finest moment.
Gotta go in there. Can I get the mark? Oh.
So he brings it to ground.
Cumberland again. Cumberland.
He's completely shanked it.
Lost his radar there.
Absolute wanker.
Good kick. What can they muster from the back half?
Go over here. But
with a chance to
it's fascinating. It's like my current understanding when it comes to like the disagreements in gender ideology seem to be based on can a person's gender be decided based on physical characteristics that we develop while we're like in the womb versus like can it be something that can be just like that can be based on the way that you act post birth, and I think that's kind of where it's at. But then this whole part about like, oh well, then like you could like have a surgery and that can be part of your transition. It's like, okay, well, like in there it's like, okay, so if someone like actively wants their penis cut off, right, and then create a vagina, it would be like, oh, that's part of their transition. But what if someone didn't want that to happen and it was just done to them? You know, like what if somebody went, what if you like kidnapped someone, chopped off their penis and then created a vagina? You know, like is that, are you like forcing that onto them? Or is it in that situation you say, oh no, that's not a transition, because you have to like have it, you have to have it like, it has to be like in your mind, you have to like want it to happen, you know, like it has, you know what I mean? Because like if it's something that doesn't have, like if the physical act of it doesn't actually create it, isn't actually part of it, well then doing it actually isn't needed. It's completely unnecessary, and it's a completely separate would that be like a cosmetic surgery? It's a completely different procedure. That it's not actually connected in terms of like that is like things to do with gender. So it's like, okay, come rid of this.
What can he manufacture? Callahan.
Handballs. Oh.
Buckley gets a
handball out here.
On center wing.
Kick down there.
The movement has been impressive. Lloyd.
Like I know that I've heard the ideas of like oh, come rid of this.
Fighting tooth and nail not to give up.
I do think that like the ideas of like, okay, so gender being based on physical characteristics. I feel like that's easier to understand because things that are physical are easier to understand. So I feel like I can see that and then be like, I can see how it's easier for me to like want to believe in that based on it just being easier to understand, and it like kind of suits me well enough. Like what's the point for me to like want to believe something else that's harder, that takes more time?
Daniels runs onto it.
Oh,
That's a
Come on.
dreadful hand pass, truth told.
Go in here, and then it's like, and then what else? What's the next step after that? The next step after the physical stuff is go over here, handballs. Come on, Richmond, can you get something here? It's a 2-goal game, under a minute. Oh, handball. Doesn't get it, it's out. Dusty, what are you doing?
That's what they call a good old-fashioned clanger.
What are you doing there?
What's he got on offer?
Okay, the GWS.
The Tigers have denied.
Get out of that one.
Lloyd was a
And we'll be at the end of the quarter.
3 quarters in, and this one's still up for grabs. Huge last quarter coming up. Time for some more insights from Gary on the boundary.
The Tigers have been below their best, but there's still a sneaky chance. They do need to stop picking out opponents with their foot passes, though.
Come this way. That's the GWS. You have the Richmond. What was I talking about? So I know I was talking about like gender and get rid of this. I was trying to like do it like smoothly, but that's not what I do usually. Usually, like if I'm like trying to think of something, it's not very smooth. And then, but like halfway we just kind of, I just kind of say things and then see how it goes. So it's like I know that ideally, if I'm thinking in my ideal world, I would be like, well, I would want people to be able to transition. That sounds awesome. Like, why wouldn't you want the ability to say that people can do that? So it's like, great. So like, how do you do that? And what are you transitioning from? How do you start the gender? How do you create the genders? How many are there? What are you basing them off of? Is it physical characteristics?
He's a quality finisher.
Okay, come get rid of this. Okay, oh, that's a goal, whatever. Because the idea if it's yes, then it's like, okay, well then are those physical characteristics something that is determined prior to birth, the way that you develop inside the womb? And it's like, if it's yes, then it's like, okay, so then it's not based on personality traits and the way that you act, so then it would be physical? Or is it like a thing where it's like, well, if it's not a physical thing that we have, so like the example would be penis and vagina, but instead it's actually something in terms of like it's the way that you act kind of in like social settings, you know, and something like that. Well then it's like, well then you can't actually claim any baby to be any sort of gender, you know. In that situation, I feel like I see that. Like what is it based on? Like the idea of it being like, well, it's based on both things. It has to be a combination of the two. I'm like, what would that be? Come get rid of this. Oh. Because then it also goes from like whatever you're starting it based off on. Well, then it's like, okay. Well, then what are the rules of like being able to transition? Is it something where it's like it's done because of the like? I feel like it can't be something. Is it something because person wants it to be done, something that can just be done in general to them, not to them, it's just something that happens? If it's physical based, then it would be like, well, if you just chop a dude's dick off and you create a vagina, then they're now a woman. But it's not that. I already mentioned that. If it's a personality trait thing in terms of the way that we act, of like, it's like, okay, oh goddamn, like it's not the length of hair, right? Because there are plenty of people who have long hair who would be like, this is a man and this is a woman, both have long hair. It's like, okay, so it's not about the length of hair, you know that much. Like it has to be something that, like to be able to distinguish things, it has to be something that only those people who fit within a category can have that certain thing, right? So it's not like, so length of hair does not equal a gender characteristic automatically. Like you can have things where it's like, oh, more women have long hair than men,
What are your thoughts, Gary?
and more men are bald, but because there's an overlap, it's like it's not an automatic, that is it, you know? So it's like, okay, so what are the things?
Greg Williams would have been proud of that one.
Yay!
It's a goal.
There we go. But I do also see, based on like little interviews I've seen, people in debates, and I see those who identify as trans, and I hear them and what they're saying, it does tend to be based on them saying, oh, I wasn't growing up. I wasn't like a typical boy. I didn't do the things that like boys typically did. So they like took their personality traits and said, well, I don't act in a way that boys usually act. So, and then they eventually took that and made, and then like their idea of like, and maybe like a lot of them, some of them, maybe a lot of them went and said, oh, I want to like fit in, right? And they tried to like act differently in terms of their personality to be like the traditional idea of what they felt like what boys did, right? But then they didn't want to do that, so instead they went in like a different direction, which was to change their physical body to match what they thought of themselves on the inside, and be like, okay, so I have these. It would be like they have these personality traits, and then be like, oh, I see that people who have these personality traits similar to me, they look in a certain way, which happens to be women, right? As this is just one example. So then they will go and claim that they are a woman because their womanhood is based on their personality characteristics, not based on the physical form. But they then go to use with physical changes to try and match characteristic of what they claim, of what they think a woman would be. I think that's correct. I think that's accurate in terms of what I tend to just see. So like, when it comes to like people having disagreements, I feel like the first thing you have to ask is like, what do you think gender is based on? Is it based on physical characteristics? Is it based on the way that you act out, like your personality? Come get rid of this. But then that also poses an interesting question of like, what does it mean for something to be a personality? I was just gonna say, like, oh yeah, it's just like the way you act and the things you like and stuff. It's like, it's not something that I've like thought so deeply on to be like, this is what it means personality. It's just something that like half-assed like, understanding on personality, I think. But in terms of like actually putting it into words, I was just saying the way you act. Is that true? Is that like too broad of a definition? I think so.
Turned over. Lloyd in the middle.
Ow. Come on. Handball that way. GWS.
They're hungry for more.
Okay, we are in the last quarter. The Giants have a 5-goal lead. There's not a lot of time for Richmond.
He might have thought about the corridor.
Richmond definitely coming in here they had the chance coming into this quarter, but they haven't been able to get anything going. Okay, here we go. You got to be able to get this.
Should be a goal.
It's not the best kick. Has he done enough?
I literally hung it out there so then it would come back based on his previous myth.
Long from the kick in. Green.
Tommy Green.
Happy to be patient and wait for it.
Hey, Brucey. Little kick this way. Oh, goddamn, that's a good kick.
Gee, they're playing well.
Bedford. Oh, Hogan.
Will take some stopping. One behind.
Oh, damn.
The Tigers are still in this somehow.
Yeah, but all they got to do, they need more than 5 goals. I don't think they're still in this. I think they needed that goal from Cumberland before. They didn't get it. I think it's game over because of it. Especially since GWS are coming in the 50 here. They get the mark.
They're running on top of the ground at the moment and playing an excellent.
Yeah, that's going to be Bedford. Let's see what he gets. Oh, yay. There you go.
That was no exception. Great play.
The Giants are strutting their stuff. They're a force to be reckoned with.
Mr. Giants.
Pickett takes the hand pass. They're still cracking in.
But like, yeah, it's interesting if you're like, okay, this is what we base gender on and stuff, right? And you're like, okay, it's gonna be physical characteristics. It's like, okay, but what are those physical characteristics? Is it like, oh,
that's a give up.
this person has an appendix and this person doesn't. That's appendix is a woman thing, or anything like that. It's like, well, no, it's not those. It tends to, hey, I don't know. Well, that way. But then there's also the interesting topic of like, because there would be people with the thought of like, well, there are only two genders. It's just man and woman. It's like, okay, if that's your idea, right? It's like it's just two genders. It's just man and woman. There's nothing like anything else. Then what that would have to mean is that 100% of people would have to fit into it, which isn't the case because it's like what, 98 or something. So it's like a very high percentage of people that are able to fit within like the, I suppose, traditional idea on like what a man and a woman is, of what a boy and a girl is, male and female, right? But then it's like, well, what happens when there are actually people that don't actually fit into that? It's like, well, it kind of breaks up the whole idea of like 100. If the idea is like everyone fits within one of two categories, but then there are people who are actually considered something outside of those two categories.
Defense 101 there.
It kind of breaks that argument, does it not?
Can anyone take a mark?
So then it's like, well, what is it?
Fumbles it.
It doesn't matter if you'd be like, oh, it's a physical anomaly or something. It's like, well, an anomaly would still break the idea that everything fits 100%. It's like, it's 100% or it isn't. At the same time, like, the whole concept of gender is, at the same time, completely made up. Like, I see that. Because it's like, well, people took physical characteristics that they saw people having, and we're like, well, this is what this is what, and then you just like, let's combine this thing and this thing and this thing, and call that boy, you know? And then we'll just do all that stuff, hey? So it's like, we got the green there. So technically, as odd as it sounds, there is no such thing as boys and girls. Technically, because it's all just like made up stuff that we create to like try and simplify the world around us. But it's very strange to kind of say like technically boys and girls and all this stuff aren't even like technically real. But we like hold on to him, or like I hold on to him, maybe you hold on to him. We're like, this is a valuable thing for us. And it's like, well, why is it a valuable thing? I don't know. It just is, damn it.
The Giants are good with their hands. Not sure who that was meant for.
That's going to be the end of the game here. Okay then. So it's GWS who got this victory. Let's see what we had. Did anyone get 3 goals? Revolt got 3 goals. He was the one that led the way, goals-wise. Right, so it was Josh Kelly with 47. That's a lot. That's quite a lot. A lot of GWS at the top with there. See the people at the top for the marks. More GWS players. So it was the Giants getting the victory. It was Revolt who had the most goals with 3, but for GWS, Bedford and Green. Bedford, who played his first game of the season today. Tom Green and Cadman each had 2. Josh Kelly led the way with 47. Whitfield 38. Ward had 37. And they get the victory over Richmond, 79-46, a 33-point victory.